Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Hey.
Welcome to the Ouch Talk Show. It's very much a disability thing. I'm Kate Monaghan.
And I'm Simon Minty. We are disabled and we chat about impairment-related stuff with guests who also happen to be disabled.
Mohammed Salim Patel is in Salford. Hi Salim, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
He's also known as the Blind Journalist, and Salim's doing the social media update for us shortly. But he's also on the BBC's journalism trainee scheme. What is that, Salim, and are you enjoying it?
I'm definitely enjoying it. It's an 11-month contract with the BBC, and as part of the contract you're given several placements so that you can basically become a multimedia, multi-platform journalist at the end of it.
It's not a disability thing, Salim, it's just a mainstream one?
It's a mainstream scheme, yeah.
Salim, what have disabled people been talking about on the internet this month?
Well, they've been talking about a lot, really, and the first story I'm going to start talking about today is a recent one, and it relates to Anne Wafula-Strike, who's a 47-year-old Paralympian wheelchair racer. And the reason why she's been in the news is because on the 8th of December, she was on a 3-hour cross-country service from Nuneaton to Stansted. Now, Anne felt that she needed to use the toilet, so she made her way to the disabled toilet on board the train, but found that it was boarded up and had an out-of-order sign on it. So she contacted the Ticketmaster and explained that, she needed to use the bathroom and obviously the toilet wasn't available. She says that the Ticketmaster was quite sympathetic, and she said that, we'd wait for the next station to arrive, they'd get her off, and, she'd be able to use the bathroom, and then they'd put her back on the service. However, the stop that they did come to, unfortunately, had no staff at the platform, so she was left having to wait on the train, and the next stop would have been Peterborough, but sadly, Anne felt that, she needed to use the bathroom and had no choice but to, and this is what she said, I wet myself. And as a result of that, she's been left humiliated and she feels, violated as well. So that was in the news because Anne decided to go public. As a response to Anne's experience, Cross Country did respond and they did apologise to Anne, and they said that, the reason why that train was in service was because the trains which did have a disabled toilet were out of service because of cow strikes, and there was a door defect on that train that she was on. They have...
What strikes?
Cow?
Yeah.
Cow strikes, yeah.
So what, cows had hit the trains?
Yeah,
Okay.
they'd managed to veer onto the tracks and unfortunately got hit by a train. So
I can't imagine how that must feel to, be in a position where you aren't able to access a toilet and actually wet yourself on a train. That is unbearably bad.
And also, she's actually gone public with it. So
She has
yeah,
gone public,
rightly
and
so.
The reason why
That's quite brave.
she's
Yeah.
decided to do that is because she felt if I stay quiet, then what awareness is going to be put out there? And I mean, this article itself has been shared on Facebook and Twitter by loads of people, because actually on the day that the article was released, I saw on my own personal Facebook feed 3 people complaining about rail assistance itself, and that's where disabled people have the option to book a train station staff member to assist them in whatever way they need at each station for their journey when they're alighting onto a service. But people have found, and people have been complaining and saying in kind of regular discussion threads that I see on Facebook, that often rail assistance isn't provided despite people booking them in advance.
I have to say I'm almost bored of hearing about rail assistance being bad, because it is bad so often.
Yeah.
And I've heard about it so often. This was sort of an extreme of it, which I think should have been talked about, but I just feel like anybody complaining about the railways as a disabled person, it washes over me because I just hear it so much. I've had so many experiences of being left on a train, not being able to get off, just no, lifts not working, and it just never changes.
And you can't get angry because it's just heard it.
I'm over being angry about it.
But presumably then this is down to the rail operators, and why are they not taking it? I mean, because you will get times where the loo or the lift or whatever it is out of order, we know that. But there was no alternative. That's where it kind of really fell down.
And the other thing with this situation was Anne says that she wasn't informed in advance of the actual service not having a disabled toilet. So she had no choice. If she would have probably known, she may well have, gone before boarding the service or whatever. But I completely agree with you in the sense that it is boring, because I've experienced the same. You actually spend half the time on the train panicking, thinking, is the assistance going to work this time?
Exactly.
That's the bit, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a case of, it's there, it's meant to assist disabled people, but yet it's not coming to fruition.
Well, it's one of those times we have to kind of hand it over a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then when it fails, it's really frustrating. But I read the article, and the bit at the end which kind of got me even more was she said, I then sprayed perfume on me because I didn't want to smell, because she still had to continue the journey. And you're thinking, this is so humiliating. And
It's unbearable.
I mean, she had no choice, I guess, but...
Yeah.
It gets to a stage where you think, should I even bother complaining again? Because
Exactly,
you just
that's
get the
thing.
generic response.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is
and
it. Yeah.
No, but can't do that. We've got to ramp it up.
Yeah.
I don't know, because there is no... It feels like nothing ever changes, so I had to come to the point... I mean, and obviously I've never had anything as bad as what Anne went through, but even just in my small way, I got to the point where I have to forget and be zen about this, because otherwise I will spend my life being angry at train companies.
I think the problem that they don't realise as well is travelling independently for a disabled person is a big step.
Yeah.
And when the facilities in place that should help you don't come through, it's like that whole confidence just flops, doesn't it? So. But
we do have to remember that there is not a representative from the train company to put their side of the story, and I'm sure they'd have a side of the story. But so this is a very one-sided.
Things if they visited, we have to tell them that they lose out of order.
Or lose ever for the 10 hours they're in our studio. Salim, what's your next story? Something about a smartphone app?
It is, yes. It's called Identify, and that's spelled with an I at the end instead of a Y. And it's an iPhone app, sadly only available on iPhone. But it's basically an object recognition app, and it's new on the market. I actually came across it on Facebook through a sponsored suggested app. And I found this quite recently, where a lot of the suggested apps and things like that come up on your feed are now more related to disability.
Okay.
And this app itself, it's like I said, it's an object recognition app, and it's really user friendly. The interface itself is...
What is an object recognition app?
It's for blind and partially sighted people, and they basically use their camera on their phone to take a picture of an object in front of them, and that basically gives you a description of what it is. So I could take a picture of a bottle of tomato ketchup, and at the time I won't know it's tomato ketchup, but I'll take a picture and it'll say, hopefully it will say, red bottle of tomato ketchup.
Okay, so I've got, there's that well-known search engine, and that you can back up all your photos with them, and then they start grouping them. So these are all the photos with a bottle of beer, all the photos with a bottle of tomato ketchup. This is the software, clearly, that they're using in different apps now.
Yeah, it's almost artificial intelligence. I mean, on Facebook recently they had the AI where it recognised photos that people had put up. So it'd say something like, picture of two people smiling, close up. It's similar to that, but with this app, you're basically able to use it for both object recognition but text recognition. So you can take a picture of an article or a letter and it will read it out to you.
Well, that's interesting.
And I mean, there are other apps out there such as Be My Eyes and TapTapSee.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think the way that this app has been put together, it's the detail of the description is so much better.
Salim, your point, which we're loving the app already, but your point was this: you were being marketed to around your specific impairment type, and this was quite new.
Are you saying you actually like the ads on Facebook? Is that what you're telling me now? You're happy that they're there?
I am. I actually am.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that, ever.
Well, the thing is, if it wasn't there, I would never have known about this app. So it's like, it's targeted to me as a disabled person. And I put a post out on Facebook just asking people generally, what do you think about these targeted apps? And some people said, yeah, it's really good. They agreed with kind of my viewpoint. But then there was others that said, well, how does Facebook even know that I've got a disability? Or isn't that a privacy breach? Things like that.
I think, yeah, but that privacy thing, did you write to your friend recently saying, you know what, I wish there was an app that could recognise bottles of tomato ketchup, and then suddenly, I mean, I write to friends and say, I want these new pair of shoes, and suddenly that advert will appear on my timeline.
Yeah, well, I think the way that this has come about is Be My Eyes is actually, you can sign in through Facebook, as you can do with a lot of apps, and I think that probably in the system somewhere recognises that, okay, this person may be blind or partially sighted because he's using this app, and then
so it's not that all your status updates are, I am blind and this has happened today, I am blind and this has happened today.
Yeah. It's an algorithm probably, and I think it's quite nice.
If it's working for you, would you not think, Kate? Are you still a bit hesitant?
I don't know. I get freaked out that they read my stuff and.
Also, when something's free, you're always paying for it.
Well, exactly. No, but I suppose if it helps me find something that would be super awesome and change my life, then yeah, I would be really happy.
But they need to know more about you. You've got to give some stuff away.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do that.
No, I can tell you're quite private.
Yeah. Good luck with your traineeship. Don't come and steal our jobs, though, okay? We're quite happy with what we're doing. And Salim, you're going to stay with us till the end of the show?
I'm here till the end.
Excellent, that's what we like to hear. Well, thank you very much, Ginny and Salim and
Thank you.
Lee. We really appreciate your time. And that's it for the January 2017 Ouch Talk Show. Thanks go to our guests, Katie Cook, Mohammed Salim Patel, Ginny Butcher and Lee Ridley. And thank you to the team, Damon Rose, Beth Rose and producer Emma Tracy. Studio manager was Tansy Leitner.